Now, with that said, we're not all going to change the world here today, but
What
what do
are
you
you talking
think? What do you think we can do? Yeah, like what do you think we can do? You guys are fighting mandates. I'm running for office. I really expect that if we can get into the 45th Parliament, which will be the one where Justin's not there, because I don't think he's going to make it all the way there. But it's the one where we get to go and start cleaning things up. So how are you with, let's say, the Constitution in sections 91 and 92, where all of our government overreach is stemming from? Um, for example, mandates. Like what you guys are fighting happened only because of the Canadian Health Act is in place. And the Canadian Health Act itself is an illegal act. It violates Constitution sections 91 and 92. So, how do you feel about Canada's chances of actually doing something like revoking the Health Act and getting us back onto at least our Constitution and starting there in order to rein back some of this government overreach? Brandon, we'll start with you on this one.
I think there's a pretty fair chance, honestly. I think with all this messaging, they really want to demoralize us and just like keep hitting us with all these things like famine, like the fertilizer thing, global warming. Well, not necessarily global warming, the
Yeah, that
mechanism.
one, that's a dud now. They stopped. It's climate change
Yeah,
because it didn't
climate
warm.
change.
Yeah, it didn't warm. It went cold, so they have to change the name.
Yeah, and the measures they're putting in to follow through with that. But I think people are waking up. I think we need to be persistent and continue to take legal action because I guess that's the only way you can sort of officially bring these documents to light and have them like presented in a court of law without necessarily just going crazy and having anarchy. So I think we still need to use those mechanisms appropriately and speak to people, speak to our friends and family, because I guess that's really the first point to start with. Definitely everyone has a friend or a family member that doesn't see what we see or disagrees. So those are probably the easiest spots to start with. And then if you can show them what we see, well, then they now have the obligation to show their friends this, their family this, what we see. And then I think it can spread like that, almost like the supposed virus spread. But I think if we just like turtle over and like talk about like Agenda 2030 and how we're toast, I think we will be toast for sure. Um, so yeah, we don't want to give them too much credit than they deserve. They definitely are strong, and there's definitely some politicians who support like the World Economic Forum and their agenda, but there's also people who just have no idea what's going on and genuinely want good things. And if you can convince them what we're saying is actually the truth and is the good thing, not what the government is saying, then I think it will be the people versus the perpetrators, and then I think the people will win. So I think we just need to start talking with people and take the necessary, steps like the legal system and peaceful protesting, and going from there.
Wonderfully said there, Brandon. And how about you, Leigh?
Yeah, I mean, exactly what you said, Brendan. I think if we can get people to become skeptical about, what they're doing here and open their eyes, the people do have the power. We're the majority, and we have the power to change things. And I'm even like, just take that video you did on the fertilizer, like infused nitrogen fertilizer. That's something I would never have looked into before or cared about. But now that I'm skeptical of the government, I was like, okay, well, they're saying we need to reduce the nitrogen emissions in the air from this fertilizer, or, climate change is going to take over and be a huge issue. Well, now I don't really trust them. So I watched something like that, and you're talking about the closed loop system. It's like, okay, that just makes sense. They're lying again, and it almost makes you want to like push back harder. Well, the more that they push and do these sorts of things, people are going to start saying, I don't really trust you. I'm going to look into this a little bit further. And we're going to start finding the solutions, like either get rid of this act or like make amendments to this. And we'll push for that change. And they're going to have to listen to us because there are more of us than there are of them, right? But it is really just about not giving up and continuing to speak up, not caring about what other people say and think of you in the moment, because we're right. We are right about this.